I want a new build. I am not looking at old properties. I want a new build, and that is that. Hey my loves, I hope you're doing well, and thank you so much for stopping by at my channel. So I am Rachel Abbey, and I do videos all about adulting, self-improvement and living spiritually. I wanted to come on today and do a property related video. You probably know that I am in the process of looking for and hopefully buying my first home with my partner, and I'm just doing a few videos about, you know, the kind of things that we've been thinking about as we prepare for this journey. So one of the questions that we've had on our head, and that you probably have as well, is whether you should buy a new build or an older property. Now I know us going in, well, I guess me going in, I was just like, I want a new build. I am not looking at old properties. I want a new build, and that is that. I was very blunt and I wasn't being flexible at all. But when we actually started to go online and, you know, look at what new builds were available, we kind of saw that there weren't many new builds available in the properties or in the areas that we were looking at, which was quite a bummer, to be honest. We did actually go to see a development in Kent, but by the time, so we went to go and visit the development in terms of, well, it was kind of like in the evening, so it was closed. We couldn't actually go in and like view any properties or go down the actual street the houses were built on, but we could stand outside and take pictures of them, etc, etc. By the time we called them, the developers, in the morning, they were just like, all the plots have been sold, and phase 2, they don't even know when phase 2 will be ready. So we couldn't, we just kind of gave up on looking for new build properties because there just didn't seem to be any new builds available in the areas that we were looking at. And the ones that were available, they couldn't give us a definitive date as to when they'd be ready for, you know, to go on the market and for people to move in. So that was very, very annoying. But I guess one of the things that some of the things that really drew me towards new builds, and this may be why you may decide to buy or look for new builds over like Victorian properties or older properties, is of course because they're brand spanking new. Like, no one has lived in them before, so you're going to be literally the first occupants of the property. So when you go in, there'll be no scratches on the kitchen granite, you know, the countertops. There'll be no scratched floorboards, you know, everything will be brand spanking new, and they're just so shiny. Oh, they're really, really lush. Like, no one can argue, like, new builds aesthetically are a dream. Also, another benefit of new builds is the fact that they come with their 10-year warranty. So it's called the NHBC warranty. Basically, new builds come with a 10-year warranty, so if there are any structural defects to the property within 10 years, you're covered. You won't have to pay for any of the repair work. So if there are any problems with like the roof, the ceilings, the floorings, the windows, walls, etc., they will literally come round and fix it for you. I know that there are different parts to the 10-year warranty. So like, I know there's the first 2 years are encapsulated within a window, so you can claim for, I think you can claim for everything within the first 2 years, but then I think the remainder of that 10-year period, there are some things that you won't be able to claim for. But overall, you can definitely still get stuff repaired in your new build house, and that is absolutely amazing. It's a massive plus because it will save you a ton of money and also a ton of time. You won't have to look for your own sort of like your own contractors to come in and do work. And even if the people who the developers do send round to do the work, even if they do like a really shoddy job, you can just call them up again and they will come round and hopefully fix it for you. So the 10-year warranty is a massive plus for buying new builds, and I think it's really, really great as well if you're a bit limited in cash, so you don't want to spend all this money buying a house, or you can't spend all the money that you save buying a house, and you just don't have any funds left for any possible thing that goes wrong with the house. So you know, if you're thinking about money and, you know, you don't really have much left after you bought the house, I think a new build is a really great way to go, because you won't have to spend money on any of that repair work. I think it is good to keep an open mind and be flexible about the kind of houses that you are looking for. So if, for example, you are thinking about potentially moving into an older house, like a Victorian house or like a Georgian house, whatever, I guess the benefit of older houses is the fact that they come with character. Yeah, older houses are beautiful. The high ceilings, the ceiling rows, you know, they're just beautiful. They are stunning properties, and the fact that, you know, they have, most of them have so much character if they are like of the larger sizes. So, you know, the fact that some of them have cellars, I would absolutely love to have a cellar in my house. Like, oh, I'll just be like I would just feel like my whole life is just set out on a silver platter for me. Like, what more could I ask for? That would just be all that I could ask for, to have like 2 stories and then a cellar. Like, oh, that just sounds amazing. But, you know, they have character. The rooms are not all the same size, the same shapes. You know, in a lot of new build houses, the rooms are very boxy. They're very, you know, I understand why people say new build houses are very sterile, because they're just, you know, each house along the street is exactly the same. Yeah, the rooms tend to be really small, or not really small, but much smaller in new builds compared to older properties. And, you know, yeah, they're just very boxy and very clinical feeling, clinical like, whereas older properties, you know, they're just built with such intricate design. Yeah, they're just amazing. So if you are thinking about, or if you want a house with character, perhaps it's got like a cellar, or, you know, it almost feels like a maze in terms of how it's designed and entrances to different rooms, then our older property is probably what you want to look for. And then also, older properties, they tend to have a much larger resale value than new build properties. They tend to be able to be sold for a lot more than new build properties, which is a major plus if you're thinking about reselling in future. But I guess, like, if you're not too sure about whether you should buy a new build house or an older house, I guess one thing to think about is buying a not so new build house. This is where we were kind of thinking about the path we were thinking about going down. So, you know, buying a house that was potentially built within the last 5 to 7 to 10 or 8 years. So a house that is not a brand spanking new build, but a house that is still quite new in terms of the year it was built, but it probably has just had one occupant before you potentially move in. So in that sense, the house is not brand spanking new, but it still has that new build feel, because a lot of the house is still kind of like new. It's only about 5, 7, 8 years old. So that's kind of like where we've settled. We're now looking at houses, new build houses that are not so new anymore. So most likely they've had one occupant, and then like that family are thinking about moving on and they're selling, kind of thing. So the benefit of buying a not so new build is the fact that, you know, it's not brand spanking new. So the occupants would have had time to live in the house and to discover all the snags, and hopefully they would have got the contractors in using the warranty to fix those snags. So by the time you come in, a lot of the issues will hopefully have been fixed and identified already, so you can hopefully just move in into a house that doesn't have a lot of issues with it. A massive reason people hate new builds is the fact that they say that, you know, the quality is really poor and there's just too many snags. Well, if the current occupiers have identified and got all those snags fixed already, you won't have to burden yourself with the whole snagging issue anyway. So that's a massive plus about buying a pre-owned new build. I guess the downside about buying a not so new build is the fact that it's not a clean slate. Usually when you move into a new build, they the developers paint it neutral, so they may paint it white or like cream or like magnolia, whatever colour, you know, just a very neutral colour that will suit everyone's taste. But as soon as like a family have moved in and, you know, they essentially do up the place to their taste. So what you may find with a pre-owned new build is that they've probably painted a feature wall purple or like green. They've basically changed the house, and it may now not be to your taste because they've got all these random colours somewhere. They may have chosen flooring that you don't really like, or they may have not decided to, you know, go with all the upgrades that the developer had available at the time that you possibly would love to have in your house. So I guess the downside about owning buying a pre-owned new build is the fact that you don't have all of those, I guess, upgrades options available to you if you did if you just went and bought a brand new build yourself. And then also you're going to have to kind of like get rid of all of those personalized elements to the house that the family have done, like the feature walls, if they've changed the garden a little bit, or, you know, just, yeah, the decor stuff that they have done to personalize it to their taste. You're gonna have to like get rid of that if you don't like what they've done to the house, so that will potentially cost you money as well. And we were thinking as well, actually, that there isn't any harm in looking at Victorian houses that have had a recent renovation, because you kind of like get the best of both worlds. Usually when people renovate Victorian houses, they like to keep a lot of the original features because that adds value to the house. So you would see like the ceiling rose will still be there, or like the original fireplace will still be there, or they've retained the original floor tiles, you know, so they haven't got rid of a lot of the things that really add the character and the elegance to the Victorian houses. So yeah, they've kept all of that, but then they've changed more of the interior and made like maybe the kitchen design modern, or that they've really modernized the lounge, the bathroom, etc, etc. So actually think about potentially looking at Victorian houses that are modern, that have had a recent renovation, because those will have the beautiful, elegant sort of like original features that you're looking for in a Victorian house, but they will also have the convenience and the lure of a modern house. So you kind of like get the best of both worlds if you look at Victorian houses that have recently been renovated. So yeah, I'm out of breath. But those are just some reasons, some things to think about if you're not too sure like what kind of houses to be looking at. I mean, there are so many properties on the market, so what I would just say is just keep an open mind, keep adding properties to your favourites on Zoopla, on Rightmove, on Prime Location, etc. Just have an open mind. Go and visit the properties, take photos whilst you're there as well, so when you get home you remember which property is which and how it looked and how it made you feel. And yeah, just be really open, because you may be surprised about what you decide to end up putting an offer on. So yes, that is my video for today. I do hope you found this helpful. If you've got any comments or questions to add to this discussion, definitely leave them below in the comment section. Either I will get back to you or someone else watching this video will respond, so it's really nice just to hear different people's opinions and perspectives. Also, if you're a first-time buyer like I am, please subscribe to the channel, because I'll be making a whole lot more videos about my adulting journey and buying my first home and what I'm learning and, you know, the whole journey. So I really do hope that you come and join me on this journey. Thank you so much for stopping by at my channel, and yeah, I will definitely see you soon for my next video. So yeah, take care and God bless.